Are you checking in on people or checking up on people? Let's talk about the difference and why it matters on this episode of Turning a New Leaf. Hi, my name is Frank Walsh and welcome to Turning a New Leaf. My goal here is to give you something to think about and to work on in just 5 minutes. So here we are, a year into the pandemic, and I'm sure most of you are still dealing with teams that are either remote or partly remote, and you know that it's important to keep up good communication with those teams. But here's the question. When you communicate with your team members, are you checking in on them or are you checking up on them? There can be a big perceived difference. Checking up on someone means wondering what they're doing. How are they using their time? Checking in on someone means wondering how they're doing and whether or not there's anything you can do to help them. It's more important than ever to cultivate a culture of trust in this environment. And you certainly will not instill trust in your people by checking up on them. You may, however, strengthen the bonds that you have by checking in on them and making sure that they're doing well and seeing how you can help them. Because remember, you're not in charge of people. People are in your charge. Now, there's nothing wrong with having tactical meetings or discussions to get up to date on project status and to make sure that things are moving along. But if those are the only communications that you're having with your people, then you're not really communicating at all. You're managing. So take the next step and check in on your team. How are they doing working from home? Are they finding it difficult to balance the needs of work and home? Maybe they're homeschooling their kids. Maybe they need some support. Find out what you can do for them. Maybe they need office equipment. Maybe they need a tutor for their kids. Maybe they need a few days off. Maybe they need to adjust their working hours. Maybe they need to be available to you at different times of the day than you normally expect them to be. Ask questions. Learn what challenges they're facing. And find out what you can do for them as their leader. In other words, treat them like human beings that you genuinely care about, rather than like resources. Checking in on people is an important skill, whether they're remote or in the office, something we don't think much about. While we're all together in the same location, it's a little easier to catch up on the trials of the day and find out what TV shows are interesting to your coworkers. But when they're remote, we tend to focus on business, spend less time talking, and more time acting. But let's not forget to take time to be human.